a dramatic escalation of federal-state tensions in the United States, President Donald Trump's plan to deploy National Guard troops has faced a major legal roadblock in Oregon, even as hundreds of troops are being sent to Chicago amid protests and security concerns. In this video, we explain why a federal judge blocked Trump's Oregon deployment, detail the ongoing National Guard actions in Chicago, examine the incidents and arrests that have sparked public outcry, and highlight reactions from governors and immigrant advocates. A federal judge, Karen Immergut, has temporarily blocked President Trump from sending National Guard troops to Oregon, just hours after the administration announced the plan to deploy hundreds of personnel from California and Texas. The legal dispute centers around protests near a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement facility in Portland, where demonstrators have gathered around the building, prompting concern from federal authorities. Judge Immergut ruled on Sunday that the relatively small protests in Portland did not justify military intervention, cautioning that sending federal troops could infringe on state sovereignty. This country has a long-standing and foundational tradition of resistance to government overreach, especially in the form of military intrusion into civil affairs. The judge said, emphasizing that the United States is a nation governed by constitutional law, not martial law. Prior to the court ruling, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek confirmed that 101 California National Guard members had already arrived by plane on Saturday night, with more personnel expected to follow. Governor Kotek has maintained that there is no need for military intervention in Oregon and has previously refused President Trump's requests to mobilize the state's own National Guard troops. Meanwhile, in stark contrast, President Trump authorized the deployment of 300 Illinois National Guard troops to Chicago, citing what the White House described as ongoing violent riots and lawlessness that local authorities have struggled to control. This move drew immediate criticism from Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, who called the administration's demand absolutely outrageous and un-American, and firmly rejected the use of state troops against local communities. Federal agents have been active in Chicago's immigrant-heavy neighborhoods. On Friday, 13 protesters were arrested near an ICE processing facility in Broadview, while authorities also reported that a woman was shot on Saturday morning on the city's southwest side. According to the Department of Homeland Security, officers acted defensively after a suspect attempted to run them over in a vehicle. The woman, a U.S. citizen armed with a semi-automatic weapon, drove herself to the hospital and is reported to be in fair condition. Residents and immigrant advocates have expressed concern over the use of tear gas in areas near grocery and hardware stores, as well as the detention of a city council member who had questioned an attempted arrest, highlighting the tensions between federal law enforcement and local communities. This is not the first time President Trump has deployed or proposed sending troops to U.S. cities. Federal forces have been active in Baltimore, Memphis, Washington, New Orleans, and several California cities, often working alongside state agencies. In Memphis, federal task forces conducted arrests and traffic stops that raised concerns among residents about potential detentions regardless of immigration status. In New Orleans, Republican Governor Jeff Landry requested National Guard support for crime-fighting efforts despite a recent decline in violent crime. While in California, a federal appellate court is currently reviewing the deployment of Guard soldiers and active-duty Marines in Los Angeles, which Governor Gavin Newsom successfully blocked over the summer. As these legal challenges and deployments continue, the situation underscores the delicate balance between federal authority and state sovereignty, and raises critical questions about the use of military forces in domestic law enforcement. We will continue to follow developments in Oregon, Chicago, and other cities as federal and state authorities navigate these unprecedented interventions. For real-time updates and in-depth coverage, subscribe to the Indian Express. Don't miss our future reports on this unfolding story.